One day, he was teaching the people in the temple, proclaiming the message. The high priests, religious scholars, and leaders confronted him and demanded, "Show us your credentials. Who authorized you to speak and act like this?" Jesus answered, "First, let me ask you a question about the baptism of John. Who authorized it, heaven or humans?" They were on the spot and knew it. They pulled back into a huddle and whispered, "If we say heaven, he will ask us, why didn't we believe him? If we say humans, the people will tear us limb from limb, convinced that they are that John was God's prophet." They agreed to concede that round to Jesus and said they didn't know. Jesus said, "Then neither will I answer your question."
And he began to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard and let it out to tenants, and went into another country for a long while. When the time came, he sent a servant to the tenants, so that they would give him some of the fruits of the vineyard. But the tenants beat him and sent him away empty-handed. And he sent another servant, but they also beat and treated him shamefully and sent him away empty-handed. And he sent yet a third. This one also they wounded and cast out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I will send my beloved son. Perhaps they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they said to themselves, "This is the heir. Let us kill him, so that the inheritance may be ours." And they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and destroy those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When they heard this, they said, "Surely not." But he looked directly at them and said, "What then is this that is written? The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces, and when it falls on anyone, it will crush him." The scribes and the chief priests sought to lay hands on him at that very hour, for they perceived that he had told this parable against them, but they feared the people.
Lucas 20, versículos 20 a 26. O tributo a César. Ficaram à espreita e mandaram espiões, que fingiam ser homens justos, para apanhá-lo em alguma coisa e assim entregá-lo à autoridade e ao poder do governo. Perguntaram-lhe: "Mestre, sabemos que falas e ensinas com retidão, e sem olhar a aparência das pessoas, mostra o caminho de Deus segundo a verdade. É justo pagar imposto a César ou não?" Vendo a falsidade deles, Jesus respondeu: "Mostrai-me a moeda do imposto. De quem é a imagem e inscrição?" Responderam eles: "De César." Então lhes disse: "Pois dai a César o que é de César, e a Deus o que é de Deus." Não puderam comprometê-lo em coisa alguma na frente do povo. Ao contrário, admirados da resposta, tiveram de calar-se.
Some Sadducees came up. This is the Jewish party that denies any possibility of resurrection. They asked, "Teacher, Moses wrote us that if a man dies and leaves a wife but no child, his brother is obligated to take the widow to wife and get her with child. Well, there once were 7 brothers. The first took a wife. He died childless. The second married her and died. Then the third, and eventually all 7 had their turn, but no child. After all that, the wife died. That wife, now, in the resurrection, whose wife is she? All 7 married her." Jesus said, "Marriage is a major preoccupation here, but not there. Those who are included in the resurrection of the dead will no longer be concerned with marriage, nor, of course, with death. They will have better things to think about, if you can believe it. All ecstasies and intimacies then will be with God. Even Moses exclaimed about resurrection at the burning bush, saying, God, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. God isn't the God of dead men, but of the living. To him all are alive. Some of the religion scholars said, Teacher, that's a great answer. For a while anyway, no one dared put questions to him.
Then he put a question to them. How is it that they say that the Messiah is David's son? In the book of Psalms, David clearly says, God said to my master, sit here at my right hand until I put your enemies under your feet. David here designates the Messiah as my master, so how can the Messiah also be his son? With everybody listening, Jesus spoke to his disciples. Watch out for the religious scholars. They love to walk around in academic gowns, preen in the radiance of public flattery, bask in prominent positions, sit at the head of table at every church function. And all the time they're exploiting the weak and helpless. The longer their prayers, the worse they get, but they'll pay for it in the end.